United suck. That's not the hypothetical part. I'll get into the
Yeah, I was
hypothetical
gonna
part
say.
later. Um, here are my 5 things from Manchester United's loss 3-1 to Brentford. One, I'm going to start positive because there's not a lot to be positive about right now. C.O.C got off the mark and beat the 00 allegations, even though he's only started 3 games or whatever. But I think for him and the player that United paid for, it's just good that he finally got off the mark and scored a goal. And I'm happy that it was kind of a poacher's goal. Like he just was in the box being scrappy, didn't give up on the play, and then scored his first goal, which is big. It sucks that we didn't get to do the jumping celebration, just because of the fact that we suck. But that's okay. That's okay. That's the only positive thing that I've got from the game. So let's get into the negatives. 2, individual errors continue to ruin this team. You can look at all 3 of the goals conceded and go back to an individual error. The first one is Maguire deciding to just not make a decision, right? He doesn't decide to either step up to the halfway line or track the runner. He does neither. And then he makes a last minute decision, leads to Igor is it Igor? Is it Thiago? Sorry. I'm saying his first name. But leads to him just having a one-on-one opportunity, just buries it. Binder doesn't come off his line. What's new? And we go down 1-0. The second goal, I thought at first it was De Ligt's fault, and it to a certain extent it was. But if you go back and watch the replay, Dallo is literally, I have no idea what he's doing. He goes from being on the wing to being in the midfield to then going back to the wing. And De Ligt the whole time is like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he loses the ball mid-flight, and we concede the second. Which is just terrible. And then the third goal, Mainu's, given the chance to come on and try to make something of the game. He forces a ball when we're kind of pressuring them into their own box, leads to a turnover. Again, Binder had the shot taken straight at him, and he somehow dodged it. He's awful. And I'm just going to jump into 3 because that's my third point. Is like I can't watch him play another match. I know he made a couple of big saves. That should be the expectation for goalies, is that they bail you out of matches sometimes. He didn't bail United out of this match. Like that first goal, your goalie's got to come off his line and at least make it a more difficult shot. Like he had just acres of space, just went into a volley, and of course he's not going to, he's not going to save it. It's a half volley from the 18-yard box, like he's going to crush it. And the best thing that could have happened is it just getting shot straight at it. But what we learned from the match is if you shoot it straight at Binder, it doesn't matter because he'll still not make the save. I thought Lemons deserved to have a start here. I don't know why we paid for him. I don't know why. I just have so many questions as to why we're doing certain things, and that sucks. We shouldn't have bought a keeper. If that was the case and he wasn't going to play him, we should have just bought Martinez, because at least I know what I'm getting. I don't like the idea that we have this kid just sitting here. I don't care if he's a project or not. He's better than Binder. Until I am told he is not, and I see enough to prove that he's not. It's just frustrating. 4, VAR sucks, and we'll get into it later. That's a red card. It changes the game completely. United go from, even if Bruno misses the penalty, after it, they took 4 minutes, delayed the restart. They brought on 2 subs, iced out Bruno, and he misses it. And I'm not going to excuse Bruno's miss because he should have made it. But then we should be up a man for 30 minutes. It doesn't happen, and then the game obviously goes the way it does. United didn't deserve 3 points, so I'm not going to act like that was the end-all be-all, but it changes the match. It changes the match. And then 5, I have lost faith in Amorim. I think that most United fans did. I don't care if he's here or not is kind of where I'm at. And that's what I mean by I lost faith. Because I like Amorim, and I wanted to see him do well. I just don't think that he's got enough in the bank, nor do I think he's got enough belief in himself to right this ship. And by the end of the Sunderland match, which we're going to talk about right now, it could be his last match.